The sky over Earth darkened in an instant. Cities across the globe went from a normal, sunlit afternoon to shadowed twilight as massive alien vessels blotted out the sun. The Virex Dominion fleet, steel giants painted in cold black and glowing blue, descended in calculated formation. Their arrival was meant to be swift, decisive. They expected the planet's defenders to collapse beneath their overwhelming firepower and superior technology. Instead, Earth fought back. From the orbital, command centers hidden beneath deserts and deep in mountain ranges, human commanders watched the approaching fleet with grim determination. Satellite relays showed the Virex warships deploying their attack pods and bombing runs, spreading destruction on the surface. Yet amidst the crumbling buildings and fires, scattered pockets of resistance began to form. Major General Amina Patel stood on the bridge of the orbital defense station Aegis 1, her jaw tight as she watched the alien ship's targeting systems lock onto Earth's largest cities. Her fingers hovered over the console, knowing what she had to do, and what it might cost. Earth had no true space navy, no shields to stop the incoming assault. But it had one thing the invaders hadn't counted on: a hidden weapon. "Fire the WAM," Pulse, she ordered. Deep within the station's bowels, a thrumming device powered up, a relic from a forgotten Cold War project repurposed in secret. The orbital shockwave cannon was crude compared to the Virex's energy weapons, but its electromagnetic blast could disable electronics over a wide area. The engineers had only one shot. Pulse in 3, 2, 1. Now. A silent shockwave rippled through space. At first, nothing seemed to happen. Then, across the Virex fleet, lights flickered and died. Control panels went dark, shields collapsed, and starships faltered. Alarms blared aboard the alien vessels. The orbital fleet's precision crumbled. "This can't be," hissed Admiral Zorvix, his cold eyes scanning the failing readouts aboard the flagship Dominion's Wrath. How are they still resisting? On the surface, humanity erupted into action. Cities turned into battlegrounds. But this was no ordinary defense. Across ruined streets, civilians armed with anything they could find: hunting rifles, homemade explosives, even kitchen knives, joined with military forces. Fighter jets engaged small but fierce alien dropships. Hackers in dimly lit rooms took control of enemy drones and turned them against their masters. In the ruined heart of New York, a young woman named Sarah Kim crouched behind a crumbling wall, gripping a jury-rigged EMP grenade. Her squad had been ambushed by Virex shock troops moments ago, but she had a plan. When the enemy came around the corner, she pulled the pin and threw it with everything she had. The blast was a pulse of static and light. Alien weapons fizzled and fell silent. The soldiers shouted, confused, and Sarah's team surged forward. She grinned despite the smoke and blood. Humanity was fierce, unpredictable, and fast. High above the chaos, a Virex drone flew into the city's communication hub, only to be commandeered mid-flight by a teenage hacker hidden deep in a subway station. With a few quick keystrokes, the drone's targeting systems reversed. It opened fire on a nearby Virex landing pod, detonating it in a fiery explosion. Across the globe, stories like this multiplied. The Virex Dominion had come prepared for submission, but Earth was unbroken. Back on the flagship, Zorvix clenched his fists. "Report. Status? 50% of our fleet is disabled or malfunctioning," a young officer stammered. "The human's orbital weapon caught us off guard, and ground resistance is unlike anything we've faced before." "Then we adapt," Zorvix growled. "Send reinforcements, crush them." But even he felt a cold knot in his chest. These humans weren't weak prey. They were a storm. On Earth, underground bunkers echoed with hurried footsteps. Scientists and military strategists coordinated next moves, relaying encrypted messages to resistance cells. Somewhere deep in a fortified command center beneath the Siberian tundra, a voice came over the secure line. "You think this is over? It's only just begun." As night fell over the planet, the battle raged in endless cycles of attack and counterattack. Earth's skies were no longer peaceful. They had become a war zone, yet humanity stood firm, unyielding, refusing to bow to an enemy far superior in firepower and technology, because they knew the truth that the Virex had not yet grasped. They were not just fighting for their planet. They were fighting for their very right to exist, and the entire galaxy would soon learn that when humanity fights back, the consequences are terrifying. The alien war machines had arrived expecting obedience. They found instead a world ablaze with defiance. The Virex Dominion's troops poured into Earth's cities, New York, Mumbai, Tokyo, Lagos. Their heavy armor stomped through shattered streets, their plasma rifles scorching buildings and rubble alike. Their cold precision was unmatched. Yet every step forward was met by something unexpected: guerrilla fighters who vanished into the wreckage like ghosts. In the ruins of Paris, a squad of Virex shock troops advanced down a narrow alley, weapons raised. A small group of humans waited, hidden beneath the rubble and twisted metal. They moved with practiced stealth, years of training disguised by desperation. "On my mark," whispered Captain Elias Morgan, his eyes sharp beneath a battered helmet. "Hold fire until they're close." The Virex soldiers rounded the corner, unaware of the waiting trap. Suddenly, explosions ripped the silence. The humans had planted makeshift charges in the rubble. The alleyway became a hellscape of smoke, fire, and falling debris. As the dust settled, Captain Morgan and his fighters leapt from their cover, firing homemade electromagnetic pulse grenades. The Virex weapons sputtered and died. "Fall back," the Virex commander shouted. But it was too late. Humans swarmed them from all sides, wielding salvaged alien tech twisted into brutal weapons: shock sticks, laser cutters, and even jury-rigged plasma pistols. Across the globe, the war wasn't fought on open fields or clear battle lines. It was a deadly game of cat and mouse through shattered cityscapes, underground tunnels, and dense forests. Humans used their environment like hunters. They sabotaged supply lines, ambushed patrols, and struck in waves before melting back into the shadows. At a resistance base hidden in the ruins of Moscow's subway system, Lieutenant Anna Vasilyeva tapped rapidly at a console, hacking into the Virex communication network. Her fingers danced across the keys, bypassing layers of alien encryption. "Got it," she whispered. "We're inside their channels." She grinned. The Virex thought their systems were impenetrable, but humans weren't bound by their rules. Within minutes, the Resistance broadcasted a message across the Dominion's frequencies, distorted voices singing Earth's anthem mixed with static and alien war cries. Far above, the Virex flagship's communications officer scrambled to shut down. But the message had already spread. The singing echoed in the hearts of the oppressed, sparking hope where there had been only fear. Meanwhile, in the southern deserts of Nevada, a teenage hacker named Miguel Rivera played a dangerous game. Using a salvaged Virex drone controller, he launched a drone into orbit. "Let's see how they like this," he said, grinning at his screen. With a few deft commands, Miguel hacked the drone's targeting system and sent it hurtling toward a Virex dropship attempting to deploy more troops. Seconds later, the dropship exploded in a brilliant fireball. "Score one for Earth," Miguel muttered, eyes sparkling with adrenaline. The Virex Dominion's leaders convened on their flagship, frustrated and confused. "How can this be?" growled General Tizal, his reptilian eyes narrowing. "Their weapons should not work against us. Their tactics are erratic and unpredictable." Admiral Zorvix leaned forward, voice low and cold. "Because they do not fight like any other species we have conquered. They fight with reckless abandon and terrible cunning. Their strength is not technology, it's their spirit." Zorvix's mind raced. He had conquered worlds with superior fleets and weapons, crushing rebellions before they began. But Earth was different. The humans seemed to thrive in chaos, drawing strength from their fearlessness. That night, in a shattered building in Cairo, a group of civilians gathered around a flickering holographic fire. They shared stories of lost friends, victories and survival. Among them was Fatima, a former engineer who had jury-rigged an energy rifle from scavenged parts. "We may not have their technology," she said quietly, "but they fear what they don't understand. We are unpredictable, and that scares them." Outside, The distant thrum of Virex patrols was a constant reminder of the war that had become the new normal. Back on the front lines, Captain Morgan led a raid on a Virex supply convoy near the ruins of Berlin. The humans struck swiftly, taking out guard drones and disabling armored transports with explosives. Their prize was a cache of Virex power cells, technology that could extend the Resistance's makeshift weaponry. As they retreated, Morgan looked back at the burning wreckage. "This is just the beginning," he said. "They came thinking this was a conquest. They didn't know we would become the nightmare they never saw coming." In the command bunkers beneath the Siberian tundra, the encrypted message repeated itself like a dark prophecy. "You're already dead." And for the first time in their history, the invaders realized humanity was not a species to be underestimated. The Virex Dominion prided itself on total control. Across countless conquered worlds, they had mastered psychological warfare, breaking wills, bending minds, extinguishing hope. But Earth was different. In a high-security Virex interrogation, chamber orbiting Earth, Lieutenant Commander Zara Katash leaned forward, her many eyes narrowing. Across the table sat a human prisoner, Captain Elias Morgan, bloodied but unbowed. The alien's probing mind waves met a brick wall of calm and defiance. "You will submit," Katash hissed, projecting the threat. "Resistance is futile." Morgan smiled, a weary but genuine curve of his lips. "Try me." Frustration twisted the alien's features. Every mental assault, every attempt to induce fear or pain, was met with resistance beyond anything recorded in Virex history. Humans did not respond to intimidation. Their brains seemed wired to reject the very concept of submission. Back on the flagship Dominion's Wrath, the Virex chief scientist studied human physiology with growing alarm. What she uncovered challenged everything they knew. Humans had evolved under brutal conditions, unceasing environmental pressures, diseases, and internal conflict that forged a neural architecture resistant to fear conditioning. Their brains produced unique neurochemicals in response to threat, not triggering panic or flight, but a fierce focus and aggression. "Commander," the scientist reported, "our methods for breaking prisoner morale are ineffective. They laugh at pain. They inspire others when tortured. They have no innate fear of death." Admiral Zorvix's cold gaze sharpened. "This is a species born to fight. Our weapons and tactics are designed to kill enemies who fear death. We face warriors who do not." Across Earth's battered cities, the human resistance used this edge ruthlessly. Their fearlessness made them unpredictable, and unpredictable meant unstoppable. In the underground tunnels beneath Tokyo, Anna Vasilyeva and her team coordinated a cyber assault on a Virex supply depot. When the depot's defenses failed, human fighters surged through the breach. They did not hesitate, they did not falter. They took the enemy by surprise. Meanwhile, in the deserts outside Johannesburg, a human squad lured a Virex patrol into a canyon trap. Their leader, Sergeant Kojo Mensa, detonated explosives that collapsed the narrow pass, trapping the enemy inside. The humans surrounded them calmly, weapons steady, faces impassive. "You won't break us," Kojo said coldly. "You will learn fear here." The Virex soldiers panicked, their psychological conditioning shattered by the humans' fearless calm. One by one, they surrendered. But it was not just biology that made humanity dangerous. It was their rapid learning. Captured alien technology, analyzed in hidden labs, was swiftly repurposed. Within days, humans hacked Virex drones, turned their own weapons against them, and even developed primitive AI viruses designed to cripple enemy ships. In one daring raid, a squad led by Captain Morgan infiltrated a Virex repair yard, stealing blueprints for advanced plasma cannons. Within weeks, resistance engineers had built prototype weapons, hybrids that combined human ingenuity with alien firepower. "This changes everything," Morgan told his team, eyes gleaming. "We fight on their terms now." The psychological impact on the Virex Dominion was profound. Across their command networks, panic whispers spread. The invaders had counted on terror to subdue humans. Instead, humans weaponized their lack of fear. Even Virex soldiers began to doubt their cause. One captured warrior confessed to Morgan, "Your people, they do not die in fear. They become monsters." At a secret broadcast station hidden beneath the ruins of London, the human resistance aired a message not just to Earth but across the galaxy. A young woman's voice, fierce and resolute, echoed through hijacked Virex transmissions. "You thought we were weak. You thought we would break. We do not break. We do not yield. And now we fight back. To every enslaved world under the Dominion, stand with us or be crushed beneath our march." That message spread like wildfire, igniting hope and rebellion in corners of the galaxy long darkened by Virex rule. Back on the flagship, Zorvix's expression darkened as he stared at the hollow map displaying human resistance pockets. "They are learning too fast. Our supremacy is slipping." His voice was grim but resolute. "Prepare for retaliation. We will crush their spirits and end this before it spreads further." But in the depths of his mind, a growing fear lurked, the fear that humanity's indomitable spirit might shatter the Dominion itself. Because what they did not yet understand was that humans didn't just fight, they inspired. Their fearless defiance was a contagion, one that would spread like wildfire across the stars. And once it spread, nothing would ever be the same. The Virex Dominion's grip on Earth began to falter, but the war was far from over. Humanity, battered, but unbroken, seized the initiative. In the hidden laboratories beneath the Andes Mountains, scientists and engineers labored feverishly. Their prize, a crashed Virex scout ship, stripped and analyzed down to its last microchip. By adapting alien power cores and propulsion units, human engineers had begun assembling something never seen before, a makeshift fleet capable of reaching beyond Earth's atmosphere. Commander Maya Chen watched a prototype ship's engine roar to life in the test chamber. The fusion of human ingenuity and stolen Virex technology was raw but effective. This was no longer a fight just for Earth. It was a war that would spread to the stars. "We launch tonight," Chen announced. Strike where they least expect it. Far from Earth's orbit, Virex supply convoys and communication hubs became sudden targets. Human pilots, few in number but ruthless and clever, harassed their enemies with hit-and-run raids. Using stolen, cloaking tech and improvised EMP bombs, they crippled Virex vessels and supply chains, turning the invaders' strengths into weaknesses. In the asteroid belt, a small squadron of human pilots, dubbed the Ghost Hawks, ambushed a Virex fuel convoy. Captain Miguel Rivera, the teenage hacker-turned-pilot, led the strike. His ship darted through debris fields and asteroid shadows, evading sensors and enemy fire. "Target acquired," Miguel said calmly over the comm. "Let's make this quick." With precision, the Ghost Hawks deployed explosives that tore through the convoy's fuel tanks. The resulting explosions illuminated the void like deadly fireworks. Virex ships scrambled to respond but were caught off guard by a secondary assault. Drones hacked by Anna Vasilyeva's cyber team swarmed their communication relays, plunging them into chaos. The strike was a crushing blow, delaying Virex reinforcements to Earth and signaling a new phase of the conflict. Back on Earth, the Resistance celebrated the victory, but knew it was only a prelude. News spread of alien worlds once chained by the Dominion now rising in rebellion. From the deserts of Karath to the ocean cities of Ilixi, enslaved species answered Earth's call, swelling the ranks of the Free Coalition. A human diplomat, Ambassador David Kane, coordinated these fragile alliances. At a meeting deep within a liberated Virex outpost on Gilar Prime, Kane addressed a gathering of leaders from various alien species. "We fight not just for Earth," he declared, "but for every world crushed under the Dominion's heel. Together we can shatter their empire." The coalition was diverse and fragile, ancient warriors, former slaves, and desperate survivors united by a common enemy. But with humanity's leadership, they found hope. Meanwhile, beneath Earth's surface, a mysterious signal pulsed from the planet's core, an ancient technology buried deep during a forgotten era. Scientists scrambled to understand it as it activated without warning. In a subterranean bunker beneath the Himalayas, Dr. Aisha Rahman stared at her monitors, heart pounding. The signal, it's resonating with the planet's magnetic field. This isn't just a weapon, it's alive. As the signal grew stronger, subtle tremors shook the Earth. No one knew what would happen when it fully awakened, but the timing was no coincidence. In orbit, the Virex fleet commander's frustration boiled over. Earth fights not only on the surface but beneath it. The resistance grows and their allies multiply. We are losing control. Admiral Zorvix's voice cut through the tension. Then we strike at their heart, break their alliances, destroy their hope. But the humans were already a step ahead, using captured Virex communications. The Resistance broadcast encrypted messages of defiance and unity across Dominion space. Infiltrators sabotaged supply lines and assassinated key officers. The war had become a sprawling insurgency, impossible to contain. In the shadows of the Virex home system, a fleet of human and allied ships gathered, preparing for the next phase, taking the fight directly to the enemy's doorstep. Commander Maya Chen stood on the bridge of her newly commissioned warship, gazing at the stars. "We're not just defending Earth anymore," she said softly. "We're leading a revolution." As the fleet jumped into hyperspace toward the Virex homeworld, a new hope surged through the coalition. The unstoppable empire was unraveling. One strike, one alliance, one fearless human at a time. But deep beneath Earth, the ancient weapon stirred, its true power and purpose still a terrifying mystery, and the galaxy held its breath. Beneath Earth's surface, deep within the ancient crystalline caverns hidden under the Himalayas, the planet hummed with a power long dormant. The mysterious signal pulsed steadily, awakening forces that had slept for millennia. Dr. Aisha Rahman and her team worked frantically to decipher the energy readings flooding their instruments. The planet's magnetic field was shifting, the core vibrating with an intensity no one had ever recorded before. "This is no natural phenomenon," Aisha whispered, eyes wide as the glowing crystals around them began to resonate in sync with the signal. "It's a defense mechanism, a planetary guardian." Above them, the resistance forces pushed back against the Virex with relentless determination. Cities across Earth, though scarred and battered, burned bright with the fires of rebellion. Humanity's hope surged as allied fleets from liberated worlds rallied under Earth's banner. On the battlefield in the ruins of São Paulo, Sergeant Kojo Mensah led his squad through the smoky streets, narrowly avoiding sniper fire from a concealed Virex turret. His radio crackled to life. "Kojo, you need to pull back. Command reports the signal, Earth's core energy, is rising. We don't know what it means yet, but it could change everything." Kojo glanced up, the sky above rippling with a strange shimmer. "Understood. We hold the line until we know." Meanwhile, in orbit, Commander Maya Chen and her coalition fleet approached the Virex home system, the once mighty Dominion capital planet. A fortress world of black towers and steel skies loomed ominously ahead. "We strike fast and hard," Chen ordered. "The longer we wait, the more time they have to regroup." But as the fleet prepared to engage, their sensors detected an anomaly. A vast energy wave surged outward from Earth, stretching into space like a rising tide. Ships across the coalition fleet felt the pulse. Some systems faltered, others blazed with renewed power. That Earth?" Miguel Rivera asked, eyes wide as his cockpit flickered with energy feedback. "Yes," Chen said, voice tense. "The planet is waking up." Back on Earth, the energy cascading from the core began manifesting in strange ways. Ancient ruins around the world, long buried and forgotten, glowed with newfound life. The pyramids of Giza, the standing stones of Stonehenge, even the lost temples of Machu Picchu vibrated in harmony. People everywhere felt it. A surge of strength, clarity, even visions. Some called it a gift, others a warning. Dr. Rahman's voice echoed through the subterranean bunker. "Whatever this force is, it's attuned to Earth's defenders. It may be the key to turning the tide." As if answering the call, the ancient crystalline guardians, Colossal sentient constructs forged by Earth's earliest civilizations began to stir from their eons-long slumber. Deep beneath the crust, their massive forms awoke, powered by the planet's rising energy. In the skies above, Virex scouts spotted the glowing silhouettes of these guardians ascending through the atmosphere. Panic rippled through the Dominion ranks. Admiral Zorvix gritted his teeth. This changes everything. The planet itself has become a weapon. We must retreat, or we will be crushed beneath its fury. But retreat was no longer an option. The rebellion was everywhere now, spreading, like wildfire across Dominion-held worlds. Alien slaves, inspired by Earth's fearless resistance and the awakening power beneath their feet, rose up en masse. Ambassador David Kane, in a war council on the liberated moon of Talax, addressed the coalition leaders. We stand at the brink of a new era. With Earth's power awakened and our forces united, the Dominion's reign is ending. But the fight will be brutal. We must be ready. On the front lines of the uprising, human and alien fighters pushed forward with renewed vigor. Captain Elias, Morgan, newly freed from captivity by a daring rescue, rallied troops in the ruined streets of Berlin. They thought they could break us, Morgan shouted to his soldiers, voice echoing through the shattered buildings. But Earth fights back, with every breath, every heartbeat. The galaxy is watching. We will show them what it means to face humanity. The Virex, reeling from the combined assault of the Coalition and Earth's awakening power, scrambled to maintain control, but their empire was cracking. In orbit, the Coalition fleet prepared their final assault on the Dominion's core worlds, with Earth's ancient guardians now a formidable ally. As the guardians descended like living mountains, their crystalline surfaces refracting sunlight into deadly beams, the tide of war shifted irrevocably. And deep within Earth, Dr. Rahman realized the full truth. The planet was not just a battleground. It was a living, breathing entity, one that had chosen its champions. The ancient weapon had awakened, and the galaxy would never be the same. The black void of space was alive with war. Commander Maya Chen's fleet surged through the Virex dominions, star systems, a roaring tide of human and alien ships united under one cause: liberation. The Coalition's advance was relentless, a testament to ingenuity, courage, and a spirit no technology could crush. Yet the enemy was formidable. The Virex struck with brutal efficiency. Battleships tore through asteroid fields, fighters swarmed. With vicious speed, and fleets clashed in spectacular bursts of plasma and light. But the tide was shifting. Back on Earth, the ancient crystalline guardians had emerged fully into the daylight. Towering constructs of living crystal and stone, they moved with deliberate grace, their surfaces shimmering with refracted sunlight. Each step sent tremors through the ground. Their power was awe-inspiring and terrifying. Dr. Aisha Rahman, now a liaison between the Resistance and the awakened Guardians, stood on a ridge overlooking the vast glittering forms. She marveled at the way they absorbed and channeled Earth's energy, converting it into devastating beams of focused power. They are the planet's defense mechanism, she explained to the nearby Resistance commanders. When Earth is threatened, they awaken. And when they fight, entire armies fall. The Guardians had already turned the tide on many battlefronts, their arrival shattering Virex sieges and clearing the way for the Coalition's advance. In the orbital command center above Earth, Admiral Zorvix watched the battle unfold with growing dread. Without Earth's resources and these Guardians, our forces are doomed, he growled. We must break their unity. But the Coalition's unity was stronger than ever. Ambassador David Kane coordinated strikes across multiple fronts, inspiring not just humans, but countless alien species to rise in rebellion. In the Virex capital system, the Coalition fleet engaged the Dominion's flagship, a monstrous war fortress called the Eclipse Serpent. The battle was fierce. Plasma bolts tore through shields, and starships exploded in brilliant fireballs against the backdrop of swirling nebulae. Miguel Rivera, piloting a fighter alongside the Ghost Hawks, darted through enemy fire with precision. "I've got a lock on their main reactor," he called out. Ready to deploy EMP, the squadron unleashed their EMP bombs, sending shockwaves that crippled the Eclipse Serpent systems. Chaos rippled through the enemy ranks. "Now!" Chen commanded. The Coalition's capital ships fired concentrated volleys, ripping apart the fortress's hull. Explosions blossomed across the Eclipse Serpent, and with a final, shuddering roar, it was destroyed. Cheers erupted across the Coalition fleet, but victory was bittersweet. On Earth, the energy pouring from the planet's core grew unstable. The crystalline guardians pulsed erratically, their movements slowing as if burdened by the immense power they channeled. Dr. Rahman's voice was urgent. "The planet's energy is reaching a critical threshold. If we don't find a way to stabilize it, the entire surface could be devastated." Captain Elias Morgan nodded grimly. "We can't lose Earth after everything we fought for." As the Coalition regrouped, scouts reported an ominous development. Deep within Virex territory, a secret weapon was being prepared, one capable of annihilating entire planets. Admiral Zorvix's voice crackled over intercepted communications. "If we cannot win this war, we will burn the galaxy to ashes." The revelation galvanized the Coalition. The war was no longer just for freedom. It was a fight for survival. In a daring mission, Morgan, Miguel, and a select team of resistance fighters infiltrated the Virex fortress where the weapon was housed. The fortress was a labyrinth of alien technology and deadly traps. Inside, they discovered the weapon, a massive device harnessing dark energy, capable of triggering supernova-like explosions. "We have to disable it," Morgan said, "before it's too late." The team worked swiftly, planting charges and hacking alien consoles. As alarms blared and enemy troops closed in, Morgan's squad fought their way out, the weapon's destruction triggering a chain reaction that crippled the Dominion's ability to wage planetary-scale war. Back on Earth, the Guardians absorbed the stabilizing influence of the destroyed weapon's energy, their pulses returning to calm, steady beats. Dr. Rahman sighed in relief. "Earth will live, but the war is far from over." As the Coalition prepared for the final push to overthrow the Dominion, Maya Chen stood on her ship's bridge, staring into the vastness of space. "We've come far," she said softly, "but the greatest battles are still ahead." And across the stars, the galaxy braced for the end of an empire and the dawn of a new age. The Coalition fleet hung like a storm on the edge of the Virex homeworld's atmosphere. Stars burned cold and distant beyond the thick clouds swirling beneath them. Commander Maya Chen's jaw was set. Every system aboard the Vigilant Star hummed, with readiness. "This is it," Maya murmured. "The moment we either end the Dominion or die trying." Across the fleet, ships carried warriors from a dozen species, humans, Eulexians, Karathi, and others, all united in a fragile alliance forged by hope and desperation. In the war room deep within the flagship, Ambassador David Kane outlined the plan. "Our goal: cripple their command center and communications hub simultaneously. Without coordination, their forces will fracture." Captain Elias Morgan clenched his fists. "We hit their nerve centers hard and fast, no mercy." The Vigilant Star launched a barrage of missiles, lighting the upper atmosphere with brilliant explosions. Virex defense batteries roared to life, but the Coalition's advance was relentless. Below, the crystalline Guardians stirred once more, their massive forms stepping into the battle. They tore through Virex ground forces with unstoppable power, shattering bunkers and crushing war machines beneath their radiant feet. Yet the Virex were cunning. Admiral Zorvix unleashed his elite troops, fierce fanatics willing to die for their crumbling empire. Swarms of stealth fighters darted through space, engaging the Coalition's squadrons in deadly dogfights. Miguel Rivera weaved his fighter through enemy fire, targeting key cruisers with precision strikes. "I won't let them win," he growled. Amidst the chaos, a transmission crackled through the Coalition's comms, a chilling voice from Zorvix himself. "You think this rebellion can stop the inevitable? The Dominion will rise again, stronger than before. Your hope is a candle in a storm. We will snuff it out." Maya's eyes burned with fierce determination. "Then let's show him what a candle can do." As the battle intensified, tragedy struck. Sergeant Kojo Mensa led a critical ground assault to secure the command center's entrance. Explosions rocked the corridors as Virex defenders launched desperate counterattacks. Kojo's squad pushed forward, but a blast from a hidden energy turret caught him off guard. He fell, shielding a comrade with his own body. "Kojo!" his team shouted, but there was no time to stop. The mission pressed on. In the command center's heart, Morgan and his team fought their way through armored guards to plant charges on the Dominion's control cores. With seconds ticking down, Morgan locked eyes with his second-in-command. "Get." "Clear. This ends now." As the charges detonated, a shockwave ripped through the fortress. Systems crashed, communications went dark, and the Virex forces staggered. In the sky above, the crystalline guardians unleashed their ultimate power. Beams of concentrated energy tore through the Virex fleet, forcing a chaotic retreat. Admiral Zorvix, watching the destruction, realized the end had come. With grim finality, he ordered his remaining forces to fall back into the shadow of their dying empire. Back on Earth, survivors mourned their fallen heroes, but celebrated the victory. The Dominion's yoke had been broken. At a memorial beneath, the ancient Guardians' glowing forms, Maya, Morgan, Kane, and others gathered. The cost had been immense. Countless lives lost, worlds shattered, but freedom was won. Ambassador Kane addressed the crowd, voice steady. "We fought not just for ourselves, but for every world under oppression. This victory is ours, but so is the responsibility to rebuild." Dr. Aisha Rahman stood nearby, watching the Guardians slowly return to their resting places, their light dimming, but their power forever etched in the planet's core. Maya looked up at the stars, a new dawn, breaking across the galaxy. This is only the beginning. Because where once there was tyranny, now there was hope. And the story of humanity, the fearless, unbreakable species that stood against the darkness, would echo across the cosmos for generations to come. The war was over. From the shattered skies above Earth to the farthest reaches of liberated star systems, silence fell, a quiet that felt almost unnatural after so many years of battle. The Dominion's shadow had finally lifted, leaving a galaxy forever changed. Commander Maya Chen stood on the observation deck of the Vigilant Star, gazing at the blue-green orb spinning slowly below. Earth, scarred but alive. The ancient Guardians, now resting deep beneath its surface, pulsed faintly, their protective light a promise that humanity and the planet were intertwined, destined to face whatever came next, together. Beside her, Ambassador David Kane spoke softly. "We won the war, but the peace will be the true test." Maya nodded. "Rebuilding will be harder than fighting." Across the coalition, worlds once shackled by the Virex began to heal. Former slaves reclaimed their cultures, and shattered, cities rose anew from ruins. The Free Coalition, forged in fire, sought not domination but cooperation, an alliance of equals committed to peace. In the quiet halls of the Coalition's new council chambers, leaders from dozens of species gathered. Their task was daunting: to forge laws, trade agreements, and protections that would prevent another empire's rise. Captain Elias Morgan, now a decorated hero, addressed the assembly. "We fought for freedom, not chaos. Let us build a galaxy where no species fears the yoke of oppression." Yet not all wounds could be healed so easily. In the ruins of a devastated city on Earth, Sergeant Kojo Mensa's name was etched into a memorial stone, surrounded by the faces of countless fallen comrades. His sacrifice, like many others, was a solemn reminder of the price of victory. Dr. Aisha Rahman continued her work, studying the ancient Guardians and the planet's hidden power. The mysteries beneath Earth remained, a source of both hope and caution. "The Guardians are a reminder," she told a group of young scientists, "that Earth itself is alive, that we must respect it, protect it." Far beyond Earth, the galaxy's eyes turned to humanity, not as conquerors but as leaders of a new hope. Stories of courage and resilience spread like wildfire, inspiring generations to come. Miguel Rivera, once a scrappy pilot and hacker, now trained cadets in the Coalition's Space Academy. We learned that technology alone doesn't win wars. It's the spirit, the will to never give up that changes fate. As the first stars of a peaceful night sparkled overhead, Maya Chen allowed herself a rare moment of calm. The road ahead was uncertain, filled with challenges both political and existential. But for the first time in centuries, the galaxy was free, and humanity's place among the stars was secure. She whispered a silent vow to the ancient guardians, beneath the ground, to the countless souls lost and to the future unborn. We will protect this new dawn. No matter the cost, the galaxy watched, waited, and believed. Because after the darkest night comes the brightest day.